Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You are listening to the Chet Bruce Authority Report, and I am your host, Chet Bruce. I'm glad to have you here today. It is a fact that most professionals and small business owners are doing a very poor job of communicating with their prospects. It is my true belief that a consumer needs to know far more about the people and businesses that they rely on for help. This show is all about being a consumer advocate. We interview professionals and small business owners who freely give consumers the information they need to make informed decisions. With us today is Eric Campbell. Eric has been a trust officer with True Trust in San Diego, California since March of 2011. Now, Mr. Campbell specializes in estate planning, bankruptcy protection, business protection for corporations, tax and real estate trusts, etc., etc. Now, he also provides nonprofit startup advice. But Eric is also the founder and co-director of a nonprofit organization called Streets of Hope. Now, the Streets of Hope is located in the San Diego area, and they are committed to bringing hope to the homeless community. Streets of Hope provides care bags of sandwiches, fruit, toiletries, water to the homeless. They also give blankets, clothing, good conversation, and anything their heart can give. And we are very pleased to have Eric here today because of his passion for helping the homeless. Eric, let's start by asking you to tell us a little bit about Streets of Hope.
Streets of Hope is a nonprofit organization committed at helping the homeless community out here in San Diego, California. And we have been very blessed with being able to help our homeless friends out there. We run across a lot of veterans, drug addicts, alcoholics, women with children on the street, and we're able to actually go out there and meet them and build those relationships with them. And because of that, we've been able to bring in a bunch of volunteers with a bunch of different skill sets, from doctors, nurses, hairstylists, masseuses, structural engineers, doctors of forensic psychology, and the list just goes on and on there. One of the services that we provide, and this is where we have found has been very essential, the main service we provide is building relationships with our homeless community, where we actually bring them a little bit of food, a little bit of water, a little bit of hygiene, just to open up conversation with our homeless community. And by opening those conversations, we're able to assess what they really need. And most of them just need a friend. They need help with different legal challenges. They need help with having a friend, someone to help them fill out an application. When we run across our veterans, many of them just don't even know that they have benefits that actually can help them transition from the streets into suitable housing. We run across single moms and single fathers living on the streets with their children, and they're very unaware of the services that are provided, and we help navigate them through that complexity of paperwork, being patient with them, and a lot of our volunteers will take time out of their busy day and actually go with them to these different departments. And one of the other services we're able to provide is when someone's really interested in getting a job and they go, you know what, I just want a job. We're able to provide them professional resume services, clothing, and even interviewing skills to help them get that job. And we have some brilliant people on staff that are able to help them navigate through those.
Eric, what happened in your life that brought your attention to this group and made you decide to get involved?
I'm really glad that you asked that. For a long time, I was very apprehensive of the homeless community. I had this stigma that homeless people were just dirty, evil, vile people. And then one day, I was kind of dating this Barbie doll kind of a gal years ago, and she was doing something on the street to help out dogs. And she invited me to join her. And I showed up with my 4-year-old son, and I was like very frightened. and was like, oh my gosh, what is this all about? And we just went out on the streets, and this was downtown San Diego off the 16th and Island. And being there, I saw that these people were just normal people. They just made a lot of different wrong turns and stuff. So I started committing to that every single week. And as the week started to progress, I started developing a heart and a compassion for people, even though we were there helping dogs. And I think one of the most important turning points of that experience is when a lady shows up one day and she's beat up. She was in a horrible fight in her little camp there, and someone had beaten her up and had killed one of the cats that she had. And I went and I saw this lady walking toward her. She wanted some dog food and some cat food, and she's walking. And this gal that I was with, she went straight for the animal. I went straight for this lady, and I held her in my arms as she cried. The stench filled my nostrils. I was like, oh my gosh, this baby stinks, but she's hurting. And that's when I realized how important it was to help those that really need help. And people need that help. And that's what moved me for the last almost 4 years now of working with our homeless friends.
Okay. Now, when we look around us, we see the obvious needs of the homeless. A place to sleep, a place to take a shower, all of those things that we take for granted. But since you're so involved, what is the thing or things that the homeless need most of all?
Again, that's another great question, Chet. The biggest challenge that our homeless friends have is, and in their greatest need, and this is going to be as simple as it sounds and I possibly can make it, they need a friend. They don't need someone to fix them. They just need someone to love them and spend time with them, to reassure them, let them know they're okay. Because a lot of these people are going through a lot of emotional struggles. They've had a lot of broken promises with themselves and other people, and they're just hurt. And they've been through different types of emotional abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse. All the abuse is endless. And they just need someone to come in and just spend time with them, to sit with them and just talk with them. And that is what we have found that's been the greatest need for them, because once they open up, Chat, they start opening up and tell you the things that they face, the different stuff that they have encountered. And being patient with them and showing them kindness has been the most essential thing our homeless community needs.
I'm sure you're always looking for volunteers. Now, in the mind of a volunteer, what would be the largest stumbling block that a person may have before stepping up to help?
Okay, one thing I have found that a lot of people are just fearful of our homeless community. They have no idea on even how to make a difference or even what they can do. So most of the time, they just throw them a bottle of food. They may hand them a Bible tract or even $1. And what happens, and people do want to help, Chet. They really do, but they just don't know how to. And so that's the part where we've encouraged them with Streets of Hope, is to come down and spend time with us. We're an organization that is a plug and play. All you have to do is show up. We have trained leaders and professionals that are able to help you walk down that street and actually spend time with the homeless community, showing you that there's really nothing to fear. And that's one of the biggest things that most of our volunteers have struggled with. They have a certain psychology in their head that they're afraid of the homeless person, that they're disease-ridden, that they're going to beat them up or hurt them. And so what we do with Streets of Hope, we not only are focused on helping our homeless friends, but also very focused on bringing the community together and making them aware that they have nothing to fear other than just spending some time with someone that actually needs them if they have that time. Probably the biggest thing is don't be afraid to help out people in your community. Don't be afraid. Don't be, stuck in an idea or a way that you don't matter and that you can't help anyone. Every single human being that's in our country deserves the opportunity to have a fulfilling, fruitful life. And if you're at home hearing this and you go, well, what do I do? Just find a local homeless agency and just give it that time. And all you have to do is just be yourself. You don't have to be anything other than who you are. And don't try to fix them. Just be their friend. That is probably the one thing that someone can take away right now is just focus on being a friend. treating them the way you want to be treated. And you'd be surprised that it does work, and it does help an individual overcome their emotional hurdles.
Interesting. You know, I can imagine the impact of your work have on those homeless that you come in contact with. But there's got to be an impact on the volunteer. How does working with the homeless affect the volunteers?
Chet, that brings me to a whole other segment that even though we're out there helping homeless, one of the key things that has just been put upon me is to think about the volunteers and what they need. I have had hundreds and hundreds of volunteers after we're done helping our homeless friends for one evening come to me and go, Eric, I feel different as a person. I feel better. My life is not that bad. I have held many, many, many people, Chet, in my arms as they're crying because they have been touched. They didn't realize they had it in them to make a difference in someone else's life. I've had people that have come that have been volunteers that have had, serious issues with depression and anxiety and different disorders within. By walking through the street, and there's times I've had to hold their hand, Chet, and go, you'll be fine with me. I'll take care of you. You'll be protected. And by the time we're done with a couple hours of just serving our friends, these people, our volunteers, are changed. I had this one gal, and she's now one of our leaders within the community. She came in she was very depressed. And because of that she just showed up and go, I don't want to do this. And she shows up. One of the most amazing things that she's been able to do is start cutting our homeless friends' hair. She has organized an entire event that we get to do on the street. The one volunteer that was depressed, suffering inside, she came out of her shell, and now we're able to cut 40 to 50 people's hair on a monthly basis. Because of that, by working with the volunteers, Chet, we're able to actually bring doctors down on the street, chiropractors, which we created a chiropractic homeless foundation due to that. And they're out there doing adjustments. And these doctors of chiropractic, they're touching our homeless friends out there. They're moving them, and these people are getting up. Our homeless friends are crying. The volunteers are crying. Everyone is having emotional change for positive growth and experiences. So that's just a little bit of the story that I could share with you right now.
Eric, you've given us great information today, and I'm sure there's many listeners out there who would love more information. How can they contact you if they want to help? How can they get in touch with you?
We have a page on meetup.com called Streets of Hope. They can actually phone me directly. And I get people in my direct line because just have no fear in talking to people about our homeless community. But they can actually call me directly at 619-564-1127. And if they would like to email me, they can email me at eric@truetrust.com. And I can just send them a little snippet of what we do out there.
Well, that's great. Now, is there any information on the internet, on the World Wide Web that they can see before they call?
Yeah, all the contact information. We also have a Facebook page called Streets of Hope. And then we also have a website, Streets of Hope SD, which is another site that people can go to and find out all the latest events and what's going on. There's other volunteers on there that they're more than welcome to call. And we only exist because we have amazing volunteers. And just to be clear, I'm not the founder of this. Some other guys started this, and I just happened to come in at a time to really help be part of this growth and this success.
Wow. Eric, I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been talking to you today, and I know that everybody listening in here understands your message very, very clearly. And for our listeners out there, thank you for stopping in and listening to the Chet Bruce Authority Report. I want to leave you with this thought. Yesterday is gone. There's nothing we can do to change it. Tomorrow is a complete unknown. Today, this moment in time, is all we have. Make the most of it that you can. This is Chet Bruce, along with the entire staff at the Authority Report, saying good night and be safe out there.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.